y'all feeling today? Let me know in the comments. Tell a friend to tune in. Today is the Uni-G interview.
Yup.
Alright. Yes, you know what it is. Hip Hop Mike live on StationHead with a special guest in the building who's been grinding, working hard for quite some time.
Thank you, bro. Thank you.
I got a lot of respect for you, bro.
Thank you,
I gotta say, you one of the few people who goes above and beyond what's expected, what's required of them, and
Thank you, bro.
in a game where I think a lot of artists take for granted, you know, how easy it is to kind of gain attention and just be on Instagram and things like that. You know, you focus down to the buttons, literally.
Yeah, everything, you know.
And I respect it a lot, man. I've been in a lot of different label meetings where I've seen your merch, I've seen your hoodies, your buttons, your stickers, you name it. So Uni-G, thank you so much for coming through, bro.
Thank you for having me, bro. Appreciate you, man.
Welcome to StationHead.
Thank you, man. Thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's dope.
I apologize for coming in so stressed today. It's been a crazy day. I've been busy as hell, making moves, running around. But I'm thankful to have you here.
Thank you, bro.
I want to take it back because
do it.
You know we've done interviews before on radio where it was kind of like, you know, we're gonna do 3 minutes and we're gonna play a song, we'll come back, do another 3 minutes, and then it was just super rushed. And I figured today, like, I wanted to get into the Uni-G story.
Okay.
Get a little bit of background.
Let's do it.
Yeah, and then go into kind of what you're working on. But
okay,
let's set it off for the people who aren't familiar. Where originally you grew up, Uni-G?
I was born and raised in the Bronx. Yo, boogie down Bronx.
Yep. And coming up in the Bronx, I mean, the home of hip hop, a place where, you know, I think there's a lot of different elements of just music in general. It's not even just hip hop, but notorious for hip hop. Did you grow up listening to a lot of rap, or was it?
You know what? That's a good question. Actually, my father's a musician. He plays guitar, and his father was a musician as well. And my grandfather made folk music, but my dad listened to nothing but folk and country. So that's what I, grew up listening to. But my brother was a huge hip hop head. He's born in the 80s, so I was forced to listen to whatever he listened to. And he loved West Coast rap, but once he introduced me to, like, Tribe Called Quest, that's when I'm like, I fell in love with him. This is dope.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
Tribe is a perfect in between from what you describing. Did your brother and your father ever, like, butt heads on music? Like,
oh yeah, my dad hates hip hop.
Okay.
Get that stuff out of here, you know what I'm saying? And the Tribe was dope.
Yeah.
So it's not that far off from, you know what I'm saying, good music, but yeah, they used to butt heads all the time.
Well, it's dope to, like, have both sides of it, especially if they're both stubborn about what they rep for, because it kind of forces you to be open to all different stuff. It's like, at least if you want to get along with dad and your brother.
Exactly. And I was forced. So it was like, but it was a great way to introduce myself into music. I didn't just have one lane of music, and I took a different liking to sounds and, like the compositions of music. So that's what, made it dope.
What were some of the first things that you kind of dabbled in with music? Did you go straight to writing and recording?
No, I used to be a battle rapper.
Okay.
I used to be a battle rapper in 6th grade. My name has always been Uni-G, but it used to stand for Unicellular Jeeves. And reason being is because my teacher was like, you cannot be duplicated. You're one of a kind. So she's like, you're like a unicellular organism. Random, right? So I used to go in like I'm unicellular, hit me on my cellular, just stupid stuff. But and I used to battle all the time. But it wasn't until I got to high school and I met Mr. Biggs of the Soul Sonic Force, old school group, and he took me to the studio. I'm talking about Jazzy J, Rick Rubin, so forth and so on is there, and he's like, yo, like spit, and like, yo, he's nice, and he's like, yo, he's good, but he has this rhythm about him that can make songs. So that's how I got, into this, making songs.
Where did the work ethic come from? Like, did you have a regular job during this time?
Oh, yeah. I've been working since I was 13. I've been working in the field, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, since I was 13. I started working in the school as like a camp counselor, and then it just grew from there. And I don't work anymore, but my most recent job was, I was a teacher. I taught music. I was a music teacher.
Alright, so I can see where that would like help a lot of the skills though, as far as organizing and keeping track.
Right.
I mean, how many kids are you dealing with?
25 in our class.
Yeah, so that's no joke, and that's flooded. I'm assuming like how big are these classes? You probably could hold only 20.
Exactly. You know how it is. Exactly.
So that's wild. And then I mean, not just that. Did you ever get these kids like any of the music? I mean, you say you were battle rapping at the time. Obviously, you can't play that for some of the kids, but like, were they influencing any of the stuff you were working on?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yo, my kids, man, I love them kids. They were definitely influenced by, they all go and YouTube me and stuff like that. So they would see my single Swerve or my single body bag, and they like, yo, I want to make stuff like that. And I taught them how to make beats. That's what was my class. Like, I'm like, this is the easiest, easy money. It never ever felt like work. I go to class. I'm like, yo, this is how you structure your beat. Boom, boom, boom. And they made. I'm talking about straight heat. You know what I'm saying? Like.
Was it important for you to be able to kind of dabble in all facets of music? Because a lot of people get caught up in like one sound or one lane. The fact you don't mention battle rapping, which obviously goes hand in hand with like poetry writing.
Right, exactly.
Then actually making songs, producing.
Right, and people have no idea. It's a different science from battle rap. Maybe some from battle rapping to making songs. It's a legit different art. You know what I'm saying? Like you go in and when you're battle rapping or when I was battle rapping, it's a lot of. And you screaming and you just like so. But then when you're making a song, it's not every bar. You want to just talk. You know what I'm saying? So it's like a different art that I had to like study while I was with Mr. Biggs and all. And I'm like, all right, cool. So this is, and I don't have to hit him with a bar every second. You know what I'm saying? So it's a completely different art, and it's something that I appreciate that I had to learn, and that's something I can give to them because then they understood like, all right, there's different avenues. So when I go into making a beat with them, it's not just hip hop. Today we're gonna make a rock beat. Today we're gonna make a trap beat. Today's R&B. This is pop week. You know what I'm saying? So it was like,
So you just went in and was trying a bunch of different things.
Exactly, and they dope. They're so dope.
Was any of this like forced? Like I mean, I don't want to say forced because I don't know if that's the right word, but was any of this like an intention to try and be a producer / artist / or did that kind of just evolve over time?
Yeah. So whilst I was in high school with Mr. Biggs, et cetera, there was this guy who came and they had a program and they taught us how to make beats. So since I was 16, I've been just producing on Fruity Loops 3. They're like on 20 now. So I started with Fruity Loops 3, and as I got better throughout the years, I was tired of outsourcing and paying for beats. I'm like, I'm gonna just do it myself. So it was very natural for me, and I knew my cadence, what I wanted, and I didn't want the typical sound at the time, which was like the 50 Cent, and I'm not gangster rap or whatever. So I didn't want that sound. I wanted my own like sound. So
have you ever had a moment where just the sound swayed you, like where like there was things on the radio, you were like, let me try this, let me try that.
There was, yes. So, I'm saying, to be honest, when I got to college, I had this single. It was really bad, but it was my biggest fake. Kind of what made me today. It was called "Do the Cocoa Butter," and it was like it was
That's
like
a crazy name.
Yeah,
Do the Cocoa Butter.
Do the Cocoa Butter, and it was like a.
How do you do the cocoa butter?
Yeah, it was like a W, but right. But I made
it's like literally rubbing cocoa butter.
Right, but it got so big.
Get the elbow.
Exactly, get the elbows. You know what I'm saying? It got so big that to the point, and I had no idea because I was always in my room creating, that I left my room for once and went to a football game, and they performed it. The band performed it before the football game, and I'm like, yo, what? It got that big, and it was all over like the radio. World Star filmed the video, like it blew up, and I'm like, damn, like I didn't even know it could get this crazy. You know what I'm saying? So from then on, I'm talking about the whole college. I walked out of my room. Oh my God, it's Uni-G. Like I was the shit in college. Yeah, I was lit in college. So once that blew up, I mean, it was influenced by what was on the radio, the Dougie, the Soulja Boys. I'm like, I want to make authentic Uni-G music now. Now I got the audience.
What for you is like the focus? Like I said, like when did you realize that you wanted to be an overall artist, entertainer? I mean, is that something that early on you were like, this is gonna be my career?
Once I went to the Madison Square Garden with Mr. Biggs, and I forget now his performers like Biz Markie, the Soul Sonic Force, Big Daddy Kane, so forth and so on. And I'm like, yo, that's possible for me to. I'm in Madison Square Garden, right next to the stage. I'm like, you know what, maybe. And I was about 16, 17 at the time. I'm like, maybe this can turn into something. And then right after that, when I was in college, I started taking it really seriously. Like I took out a loan just for the music. I didn't pay my my tuition. And the first thing I did was I started my first album. I hit up Joe Budden's people because we had connections with them. And me and Joe Budden, we did a track. He became my first album release party. We did a video. Like I'm like, all right, this could go somewhere. I packed the house and all that. And I started taking it really, really seriously. Like money was coming in little by little. I was in college doing different college shows. I'm like, all right, this can really, turn into something. But the game changed once streaming came and so forth and so on. CDs weren't popping out. I was on 14 selling my CDs by myself every day. And I'm like, I really want this.
I want to take it back just a second. So this whole time you running around with Biggs. What kind of advice is he giving you, like as far as development and like what to focus on as like the individual?
you know what? His number one advice was always to remain myself. He hated cocoa butter. He's like, yo, don't. Yeah, he hated it. He said it was trash. Like, don't follow what they're doing on the radio. What you think inside. He's like, yo, make music from your heart. And I'm like, yo, like. Cocoa Butter's, you know, it's mad stuff. Like, Cocoa Butter's popping. I got 15,000 views, and you know, I'm like, is people buying it? He's like, yo, like that'll last for so long. Like, you gotta be authentic to yourself. Yeah, and he's a legend. Like Africa Bambaataa.
He's the truth.
Yeah, and I'm like.
You gotta find some balance. Like, to be honest, like where is that balance? Is there a balance at all for you? Because I think that's what really separates the difference between people who's like doing it for a passion and doing it as a career.
Right.
And like I'll say, as somebody even in radio, it's like there's times where I might have to sit with a particular artist that I'm half of a fan of as much as I am of you.
Right.
Even where the you know, maybe the vibe isn't even as genuine, but they're in a certain lane where it allows to access a certain audience. Like, but at the same time, there's also artists where I'm just absolutely not. I won't get carried away. I don't care how much clout they bring.
Right.
Is there a balance for you in that, or is it all just I'm gonna do what's genuine and wait for something to click that's gonna be on my terms, but could be as big as the
it's on my terms, on my time. It's gonna be genuine because I can't. Although I did Cocoa Butter and it was dope, I can't do stuff like that anymore. I'm too old now. I feel like I need to make music that's true to me and that touches people. Like I remember, you know, around that same time I had a performance and I performed my song called 16, and I'm in Funkadelic Studios. There's like maybe 20 people there, and everybody's eye was on me. And this girl to my left, while I'm in the middle of rap, starts crying. I mean, bawling, and I'm like, yo, I can do that, like. I thought like I can't do that. I'm not Cole. I'm not Kendrick. So once I figured I can do that, I'm like, yeah, I gotta continue rolling with this because all I need is 20 people to believe in me. You know, buy the single once and just keep growing from there. And that 20 eventually turned into 200. And now I'm doing shows in Iceland, Africa, so forth and so on. You know what I'm saying? So
and the longevity is there too, because you know what could have been a moment in the U.S. becomes a huge thing outside of the country, and it always comes full circle. I think is you always one moment away from having that record transition into the States.
Right, exactly.
So bring me back now to the Gardens. You're at the Gardens.
You
see this, you know, this whole moment is obviously life changing for you. It shows you another side of things that I guess, you know, before that you don't see as a possibility maybe, or even as a reality.
Of course not.
Where do you take it from there? Once you have this moment, what's the steps into kind of trying to reach those accolades the same way these people have?
So from there, I mean, and I want to touch on that, you know, it's big that, you know, I'm in the Garden because, you know, that same day I had no hot water in the morning, you know. I'm legit in the Bronx.
It's a turning point.
Exactly. You're in a place where you're like, I can't make it. You know, that's what you tell yourself every day. How? Because look what I'm going through. Look what I got to deal with. Like, I got Yeezys on when I step in the elevator. I'm stepping on piss. Like, I come from this, so I can't get there. So when I'm there, I'm like, you know, this might just be possible. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to take it a step further, record music professionally. I'm no longer in my man's bathroom, which is not a problem. But I'm going to,
sometimes you get the best records that
exactly,
too,
exactly. You know what I'm saying?
It's all about trying to evolve.
Exactly. So I wanted to evolve. So what I did from there is I started going to the professional studio. I'm paying $25, $35 an hour, which at the time when you're 18 is a lot of money.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? So
you trading buying more Yeezys.
Exactly. You know, like, well, Yeezys wasn't even out back then, but you know what I mean.
Right. Whatever J's was coming out.
Exactly. So, you know, I'm legit sacrificing everything because I'm like, you know, I have to get to this moment, and because failure is an option for me only if I feel like I put everything in it and I couldn't do it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, it's cool. I'm not afraid of failure. I got left back in the first grade, and I feel like that.
I don't think for you failure is a reality either.
Exactly.
I think ultimately failure too is a frame of mind.
Exactly.
A state of mind.
It's just, you know, the idea of, damn, I didn't get there. But to me, I'm like, yo, I did all of this.
Also, what is there?
Exactly.
Because to some extent, it's like you could say that there is a Soldier Boy off of that, to that respect to the Cocoa Butter record, but at the same time, it's like maybe you wouldn't have been happy at all there.
Exactly, exactly. So
Soldier don't seem very happy.
Yeah, he does.
But seems like, very angry all the time.
You know, failure is an illusion, but what people was classify as failures. You know what I kind of mean. But to me, I was just like, you know, I'm gonna just keep going. So little by little, I started recording tracks, and then when I put together my first album and saw the response from a few of those tracks and started making the videos, things really and the show started coming. I'm like, all right, like I can keep this going. Then after a while, I'm like, you know what? The next album I make, I want to make where if I die, this is like the greatest piece of work I've ever put out, which then led me into my Swerve single, And that just I mean, I'm like, yo, like I try to get on what's it called, like different tours. Even like,
I've seen you do a lot. Like I've definitely seen a lot of things off of that single for sure.
Yo, I remember trying to and this is just all love now, but I remember trying to get on Scott Morris's tour, the college.
Oh, more bookings.
Get more bookings.
Okay.
And this is before he was, really out there. And I'm like, yo, bro, like I'm really good. And I auditioned, and I remember the judge was like, yo, you're really good, bro. Like almost too good to be on this tour. And I'm like, nah, like I want to be on this college tour, and I didn't get chosen. And I'm like, damn, like. I'm asking the judge, and he's like, yo, I think it's because you don't have enough followers. And at the time, we only had 2,000 followers. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to just start my own tour. And I started the Swerve Tour, and I kid you not, first tour, I sold out. I brought out Further Godson. Second show, I brought out Nitty Scott and Graf. And at the time, there was a radio station that used to mess with. I don't know if you still mess with. Okay. They came out, and they hit me up like, yo, we want to collab with you. And I'm like, there's no change, like this is linear. Like I'm like, yo, y'all want to mess with me? Like I'm, in my mind, I'm like, I'm just a nobody. But they came out, then Revolt TV comes out to my shows, and I did a show Manola Rose. I'm selling out, and this is all by myself. Like I had to book the host by myself. I booked the venue by myself. Like that's how bad I wanted it. You know what I'm saying? But I think that was also to my detriment, because I wanted music or the success, right, more than I wanted anything else. It came before my relationship with God. It came before anything. And that's where I think I was starting to skew. I had to put, like you said, what matters and, how you balance. So I wanted too much. So I think that's why it was so hard for me to come. So once I stepped back and I'm like, let me just enjoy this while it's going. Because I wasn't enjoying it. I'm just going.
Yeah.
Once I started to balance is when things really started to
expand.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
That's more times than not how it goes. Like, right. I mean, I could say the same thing with radio. I did a lot of things at Hot 97, and I'm still kind of finding my place here. But at the same time, I think the fact that I could have conversations like this with you here, where I was limited to do that, I know damn sure your cameraman's like, this is some great content. Like, and real shit, I think it really comes down to creating things that are genuine, because ultimately, a lot of the kids that are lost on Instagram, they gravitate to kids like the Little Pumps of the world, the Smoke Perps of the world. I mean, those are my guys, but at the same time, I think they're a little messy, and not to say that, I mean, I say more so Pump than Perp, but the thing with Pump is like, I don't think he realizes that like people are laughing at you because it's raw and it's genuine and it's real, but how okay are you with being laughing at? And even that, like I tell a lot of times to artists, that's their personal test, because artists get discouraged and be like, well, he just doing whatever and getting lit. And I'm like, nah, his test is to see how he handles money. I think that's why certain people are like win the lottery. Like I'll never win the lottery because I'll do the right thing with the money. It doesn't help anybody's agent, like advertising or news. There's no story. It's like, oh, this guy won the lottery and started a bunch of businesses and they're having there's nothing there, and it's harder to get media like that. But ultimately, I think the fact that as you continue to evolve as an artist, we see people pop off. You, like I said, you're a day away from having a record. You're a second away from getting booked on a tour. You're a moment away from somebody seeing it and it becoming a thing. Like, I mean, honestly, bro, like I would have you on any station I ever went on, just off the strength of like who you are. I think it says a lot to what's coming, and we are in Trump mode right now, but Bernie mode is around the corner.
Exactly,
hopefully.
right.
If not Bernie, then Ocasio-Cortez definitely gonna get her ass in some point. And I think Genuine is coming back in style, and as somebody who's really led that and stayed true to yourself, you about to go crazy, bro. Like you got great shit coming.
Thank you, bro. I'm trying. Like right now, what my album Welcome to My Universe, it's really been, like killing. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, slowly after my Swerve run, I dropped the Welcome to My Universe album, and that's when I'm like, I'll take this a step further. I feel the balance now. I hit up Steve Lobel, hit up you.
I see you doing a lot of press too.
Yeah,
like,
And
it seems like obviously with people like myself and Steve, you call, but it looks like you also getting a lot of coverage on things that are probably just a surprise.
Right.
What are the moves now to come up? Like, what are you focused on in the future, and what's like the more recent stuff that's come out that you're proud of?
Right, I just dropped my video Pablo, and we're already at 100,000 plus views. Legit 2-3 weeks ago, and it's killing. You know what I mean? I'm also gonna go to Venice in March. I got a show in Venice. We're going back to Iceland because Iceland was dope. I did Iceland last year and I killed it. You know what I'm saying? I met with I forgot the radio station that I did over there, but it was dope, and that built, you know, more traction. I just came back from Africa, did Afrochella. I was there with Ebro and Jidenna, you know what I mean? Like, so we're going, but Venice is the next move, and just doing more shows overseas. Like, love. It's crazy.
Not for nothing. We can't just skip over Jidenna like that.
Yeah.
You give me so Jidenna vibes.
I love
And I gotta say, I feel like he's a dude who does it perfectly because it's like him, T.I., like dudes that are just so respectable but so true to their music.
Right.
And Jidenna, you know, he might not be on the radio every second of the day, but this man has people that will kill for him.
Exactly.
Like no cap.
Cult following.
Like cult following.
Yeah.
And you know, you look at artists like not for nothing, I think a dude even like Drake is cut from that cloth in the sense of like, even though he has these radio hits, you know, he's a dude that at 40, 50, 60 years old could still tour and sell the fuck out. And I get that from a dude like Jidenna. I get that from yourself.
Thank you.
Is that the goal? Is it?
Oh, 100%. You know what I'm saying? What's crazy is I was in the VIP in Afrochella, and Jidenna's right there, and I'm like, all right, I'm not even talking to him. So I'm like, no, don't talk to him. Like, get his talk to Jidenna. You can't walk up to him. And I'm standing next to him, and they're giving out free liquor. And I'm like, yo, just talk to him. And I'm about to go talk to him, and he walks away. I'm like, damn, I should have spoke to him. So I go back, and I'm with like my assistant manager. And she's like, yo, Ebro, take a picture with Uni. He's like, okay, but at the same time, Ebro's talking to Jidenna. So Jidenna gives me that look like, yo, like, what was that about? Like, and I'm like, I'm like, you know, Jidenna, I'm sorry. Like, you know what I mean? I'm like, what's crazy? I want to rap for you over there. He's like, nah, it's all good, bro. Let's take this pic. And we just talking. And I'm like, Jidenna talking to me? Like, you know what I mean? Like, but it was so dope, you know what I'm saying? So I definitely want to get to the point where I'm at Jidenna's space where he's just a regular dude, but his following is, you know, crazy and, you know, so forth and so on, for sure.
Let me ask you a question. And don't take this the wrong way at all. When somebody wants to rap for me in settings like that, it drives me fucking crazy.
Got you, I hear you.
As an artist, what is the approach with something like that? Because I don't know. I mean, if I could see at the same time being an artist, being like, all right, this is my shot to get the raps across.
Exactly.
What is that approach for you? And does it work, or do you think there's people that it becomes an awkward situation? Like, what is that for you?
You know, I've never done it, but I've thought about doing that. But I figure.
So when you say rap to you just mean like talk to him?
No, I wanted to rap for him. I wanted to spit bars. But I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to because I thought the same. I mean, you know, maybe he's just in a mood where he's just chilling, doesn't want to be bothered. But at the same time, like, yo, I don't want to miss this opportunity. So it's like, what do I do? And then I'm like, all right, look, I got my album, but they don't want to hear an album. They want you to get hot first. And so I'm like, you know, I'm going through all these thoughts. But first, my idea would be like, listen, hey, you know, I'm an artist and I'm just trying to get my name out there. Is it possible for me to give you my album and stuff? That's usually my approach.
Let me give you a word of advice. As somebody who gets rapped for all the time.
Yeah.
I wish an artist would come up to me and be like, yo, I really want to rap for you, but I know it'll just make this whole situation awkward.
Right.
Here's my project. I promise you these raps is worthwhile.
Right. You know what? I tried that with Ebro. Now, I'm like, yo, Ebro, look. You know what I mean?
Ebro is an interesting guy to try that with.
And what's crazy is, you know, I'm trying
Rosenberg, though, he would have been listening to your whole project.
Yeah. What's crazy, you know, I come through with the album, you know, and I don't come through with CD.
That's why I fuck with
the USB. And it's me.
That's not even a USB. That is an action figure.
That's it. And it's a keychain. It's 4 gigabytes. You can put whatever you want on it.
Nah, and I know that like when people see that, they're taken back for sure. That shows like a lot of investment.
Like I'm trying to do things differently, but even when I'm like, hey, bro, you know, look, this is my album. He's like, yo, just tag me on Instagram. I'll check any stuff. I'm like, damn, like, you know what I mean? Like,
well, again, Ebro's a different dude. So I used to tell people this all the time at Hot 97. There were people like, I don't want to put anybody's name out there, but like, as an example, Davies, right? Say Davies came up to me, and this is not a real situation, but this is along the lines. He's a dude who's known for rapping bars. Like, I'm a dude who's not necessarily known for that kind of music, right? Like, I mean, I fuck with it, but it's not my thing, right? So I always say, like, why are you pitching this to me when your approach should be the same way with a K Slay? It makes perfect sense. So that's the thing is, Ebro is an interesting dude in the sense of he's like me, where he'll be about everything, but he's almost at such a level where it's like, unless you're on some like Jidenna, like, or have like, because Ebro is the same, I'll say the same as me, and I'm maybe because I'm at a lower level, I'm not as stuck in it, but I'm a dude who's just as much a fan of Jimmy Iovine as I am of Jay-Z. And Ebro is the kind of guy that it's like, as much as he's like, you might have great music, but what are the accolades? What's the business? And just just having a USB like that, I think, speaks wonders to what your business effort is.
Right.
But always be particular, and this is not just for you, for any artist out there.
Right.
Always be very particular and try and know who you're talking to.
Yo, that's so useful. What's so crazy is that, no lie, like, I'm legit a hip hop mic fanatic. So every night, I'm real shit, like real talk, like. When I see you going on live, I'm just on live, just listening from my sister's page, just in case my phone, from my page. And I remember you saying, this was so pivotal what you said. You're like, you know what? It was something along the lines of, listen, find the DJ that matches your lane, right?
Yeah.
Like, if you're and I'm a Chance the Rapper, Kendrick, J. Cole kind of, like, why are you pitching your music to K-Slade? Why don't you go to, a Rosenberg or something? And I'm like, I never thought of it. I don't know.
It's
artists don't
life
think of
shit.
that.
Like, honestly, I think of it because it's regular life shit. Like, I done had Tinashe on this show, and don't get me twisted, I definitely wanted to holler, but I know where I stand.
Right.
I ain't on some, like,
Right,
so it's
right.
like, at the same time, you can always shoot your shot, but
Right.
sometimes you get further trying to talk to people that maybe are going to be the next.
Right. Yo, it's so real. And as an upcoming artist, sometimes, almost all the time, it gets frustrating when you're like trying to connect with a DJ and you're like, yo, what am I doing wrong? And I never thought, maybe that DJ just isn't for me because he likes this gritty music and this DJ likes this type of music, love music, and I have a Kanye West type of sound, so I have to find a DJ who likes Kanye West kind of type of music.
I'll say this too. I wouldn't even say try and find a DJ who likes a particular kind of music, but also don't restrict yourself to the music because I know you put just as much effort into USBs and buttons as you do into music. Right. So there might be some people that maybe the pitch with them is like, yo, this is what I'm doing on the business end, and believe me, the music is just as I put just as much effort into the music. Is kind of knowing, like, the same way if I sit with a fashion person, right? We're not gonna talk all about music. I'm gonna talk about fashion. I'm way less into fashion. I mean, I love it, but like I have a lot to learn. I'd say. So it's like my approach with them isn't like so much as like welcome to my show as much as it is like, yo, this is my show, but like I need you to put me the fuck on.
Got you.
And it's finding that balance because I think to bring this full circle, I think that's what makes you a special guy. Is that you're not just a kid with a record that's fitting in. You're not just a dude with cool merch. You're not, like, you embody so much, whether it's culturally, being able to literally, Uni-G, you're universal. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so from culturally to be able to speak to different people, you've been in a lot of different places, so I'm sure you could relate to a lot of different people. Working with kids, you never know what DJ is, like, trying to really understand what the fuck is going on with their kid's school, that you can end up having an hour-long conversation with them about,
so
you know what I mean? So it's like, always try to really figure out who is with what, because there are instances where people like us are just gonna hit it off just because it's like we similar and it's genuine energy. But at the same time, like I'll say this much, even with Ebro, I worked with Ebro for years, and I never bother him for anything. Like I might have called Ebro 3 times, and the first two were like, I forgot what you wanted to order at fucking Juice Press, and just remind me, or like, and then I definitely hit him after the whole Hot 97 thing came to close just to seek advice because he's somebody I look up to, but I never talked to him about this is what I feel about interviewing or this is because I mean, maybe to my detriment, but I didn't feel like it was my place, and that's the thing. But if you think I'm not talking Rosenberg all day about that, so I think it's trying to find a balance because in ways when I really needed Ebro, he's come through and given me great advice and has reached out, and I never really expected that, and I think it came from just not having those expectations from somebody like him, but having expectations like that from other people. Like I'll call K-Slay all the time, be like, yo, you should check out this artist, you should check out, because I know he sincerely loves putting records together with people that's up and coming. I know with Ebro, it's like, I'll mention to him like, yo, have you ever heard of Burna Boy, like pretty early on, because I know that's kind of something he'd be on to, and it's like a big thing somewhere else, but like it's all about finding that balance and knowing what girl you can have fun with at McDonald's and say, well, you know what girl you need to take to a steakhouse to impress. It's just like, and that personality, I think, I say it with the networking too, is like, not every relationship is meant to be the relationship for you. There's artists that never talk to Ebro a day in their life that are super successful because of their bond with Slay. There's the same way, there's artists like Joey Badass that you know, I don't want to say any one person in particular, but there's a lot of people who have slept on that man.
Yeah.
And Rosenberg supported him from day one.
Right.
And same with A$AP Rocky. There's a lot of people at Hot 97 didn't support Rocky outside of the one radio record. And it's not because they weren't fans of the music, but at a time where you have to be focused a lot on the clubs to build with an artist, he wasn't a kid that's in the clubs. But Rosenberg supported him, and they, you know, look at where Rocky's at now, and he still show him hella love. So I think in finding that balance, there's a lot of beautiful things that can happen, and the fact that you put work into doing everything. I mean, you could talk sneakers, you could talk, like, again, culture, merch, like, these conversations are combos to have, because I tell you right now, if you talk to DJ Magic about merch, y'all are going to be talking for 3 hours. If you talk to him about music, you might talk for 5 minutes.
Got you.
And not that he doesn't care about the music, but it's like, you know, sometimes the bonds are deeper than the music.
You know, as an artist, you know, I don't think we think like that. It's like, all we think is we only have 2 minutes to get off, or a minute, if that, you know, just to, look, this is what I do, you know, whatever. It's just like, all right, can we do it, or something, like, you know, you don't think just
It's interesting, too, because I'm coming at it from a different lane. Obviously, I'm a radio dude, but, like, I think the artist, it's interesting, because if you take the time to really self-reflect, I mean, I can't say it's for every artist, but I'm sure I can say it's for you. What you love about music is getting across things that are genuine. So it's like, your music isn't all about music. Your music is about family and life and all this. So the relationships with anybody has to be just as much about the content in the music, and not just the music itself.
Got you.
You know, so if you have 2 minutes, I'm telling you, if you have 2 minutes to talk to Magic about cars, it's gonna turn into 20 minutes.
Got you.
You know, where it's like, if you just always are talking about music, people don't get a taste of what's actually in that. You know, and it devalues it, because I think a lot of people are like, here's what I'm selling, here's what I'm selling, here's what I'm selling. Like, Apple became Apple because they're like, here's what you could do with what I'm selling, and here's what how it's gonna move you. You know, so I mean, I'm still learning myself, but like, if you know, that's kind of how I look at it. But again, I think you're a dude who covers all aspects of it, bro. And like I said, as the world becomes more and more genuine, I think kids that are kind of just doing this mainstream, regular, it gets boring. Like, people, not for nothing. I mean, Supreme never gave me a check, so I just say it. I remember a few years ago, Supreme was like, everybody had to have Supreme. You go online right now, it's Monday, they dropped on Thursday, there's still things available. And you see more and more kids popping up with random ass, like, spray painted up, and it really just goes to show that it's not so much about fitting in anymore as much as it is standing out. And the people who are trying to fit in, they might fit in for a moment, but it's not a lifetime. You know, so
that's so real. That's so real. You know what? That's a great perspective. You know what I'm saying? Just taking an approach where it's just more genuine and just fluid. And when I think about it, I've had more success from those type of relationships anyway. You just don't think, you know, as an upcoming artist, you can do that. But like, even us, like, you know, we built organically. You know what I'm saying? And then even when I was going on tour with Lupe, my second show I did with Lupe in New York was because I was talking to his manager, and I didn't even know she was his manager.
He's another great example.
You know what I mean? Like, you know, I'm just talking to his manager backstage in Cali, and, you know, I'm just telling him how much I love Lupe, blah, blah, blah. And then eventually she's like, yo, like, you want to stay on tour with him? I'm like, don't you work in a venue? I had no idea she was. She's like, no, I'm his manager. I'm like, what? And me and him, and we just go on tour, and I'm like, yo, that's so crazy.
So imagine if you knew it was his manager, you'd be like, check out my music. I got the USB.
I got the USB, hit the pin.
That's the thing, man. I'm telling you, that genuine energy, it goes a long way. And you know, as many people as just swiping right, swiping left on the image, it's like there's definitely people who are super tuned into things that are obscure or different or just sincere. So again, man, I'll give you a lot of credit because you've relentlessly been yourself. And there's a couple of instances I know for sure you could have signed deals, you could have got lost in situations. And I think your moment is coming up very soon, man. I appreciate you spending this time.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate you, bro.
Where can people keep up with you? And where can they buy the tickets? You said you're going on tour now.
So
can they buy the tickets, or is it like you gotta be overseas?
You gotta be overseas. But I'm gonna do a few shows in New York. You can keep up to date with my shows and everything on my website, IamUni-G.com. It's IAMUNI. G.com. And all my social medias is IamUni-G, IAMUNI-G. You can find out where I'm going to be. You can get your tickets on my website, IamUni-G.com, and stay up to date with me, so forth and so on. So
incredible. Well, let me see. I'm gonna leave them with one record. We got a lot of people in here. Shout out to everybody that's on the check-in. I got Kimberly's. Both the Kimberly's is still in here. Christy in here. Serena's in here. Mono. Let's get to this. Hold up. I'm gonna type in Uni-G.
Yup.
Because this is tied to my stream, my Apple Music.
Okay. My single Pablo is killing right now. We
boom.
You know what I mean?
All right. So we gonna get to Pablo. Let me pull this up.
Pablo.
Hey, it's a little tough to navigate. Hold up.
Okay.
I see the project.
Okay.
My fault.
Yeah. Everybody think they Pablo.
See, look, you professional radio guy.
Yeah.
Why can I not find this? Boom, there it is.
Let's get it.
All right, let's get to it. Uni-G, thank you so much, bro.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate you.
Much love.
Let's do it.
Boom.